Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome to the channel. My name is Kelsey, aka the Empress, and I am back with another pick a card reading. And today we are looking at a message from Avalon. So out in front of you we have 4 different messengers to bring you this message from Avalon. And I'm going to ask you guys to really take a deep breath, maybe pause the video when I show each one of these cards up close to really take a look at the imagery around the main subject and really see what's calling to you, really see which one of these is really pulling on your intuition. So group number 1, we have Merlin as a messenger. Group number 2, we have Arthur. Group number 3, we have the White Heart. And group number 4, we have the Questing Beast. So really take your time, really feel out which one of these messengers is calling to you or wanting to deliver you a message from Avalon here. Go ahead and pause the video if you need to. I will have the timestamps to the beginning of each reading in the description box below, as well as in the pinned comment. So without further ado, again, pause the video if you need more time, and I'm going to go ahead and move on to group number 1. Hello, my beautiful group number 1. Those of you that chose Merlin here as your messenger from Avalon, this reading is for you. And tapping into this reading, I really feel like for a lot of you guys, this energy has a lot to do with almost maybe confidence. For some of you guys is really something that I'm picking up on. For some of you guys, you may be feeling kind of blocked or stuck or unsure or even doubtful of yourself. And there's something here where it's like you need the confidence to take the next step or to trust the unknown. That may be something that some of you guys are struggling with. Because there's something here about like not being able to see or not being able to know what's going to happen if you take this step or take this risk or do this thing. And I feel like for a lot of you guys that may be really blocking you or closing you off or keeping you from progressing in some way, shape, or form. Some of you guys, there may also be something here where it's like you feel like maybe you're feeling alone, or maybe you're feeling like you're being surpassed by the people around you, or by life in general. Like life is just passing you by, like you can't seem to catch up, or you can't seem to attain the level in your life in which you feel like you're supposed to be at. So there's like this expectation that you're placing on yourself, group number 1. Telling yourself that you should be further in your life, or you should be progressing further down your path faster than what you are. And it's kind of creating a lot of self-doubt and a lot of almost like self-sabotage energy, where it's like causing you to lose faith in yourself or lose faith in your path. And I feel like Merlin's coming forth for you guys saying like there are many different paths, many different ways to get to where you're going. And there's a need to trust. It is a big thing that's coming through here, a need to trust. Some of you guys may be in like a moment of like decision paralysis, like you're not able to make a decision to move forward or to move at all, because you're like, well, what if this is the wrong way? What if this is the wrong step? What if I do it wrong? What if I'm not good at it? What if I fail? So there's definitely something here where Merlin is coming forth saying, well, you're going to stay where you are regardless if you don't take a step, no matter what direction you take. There are many paths to get you where you want to go. And I feel like group number one, you guys may be stuck in this, there's only one way to do this, and I have to make sure I choose the exact right step, the exact right path, make the exact right decision. And Merlin is saying, no, you just need to make a decision. Don't worry so much about whether it's the right one or not. You will get to where you're going if you're moving, but you will get nowhere if you stay in this kind of hesitation or kind of decision paralysis energy. Okay. So I feel like for a lot of my group number ones, there's a need to maybe recognize that what is really blocking you is your own expectations of where you think you should be in life right now, and really looking for like this path that's going to get you to that place of success or that place on your path immediately. You may be searching for like this instant gratification energy, and there's a need to kind of recognize that and really allow yourself to experience the whole process instead of just trying to figure out which step is going to take you to the finish line. Okay. And it's, you don't, so I guess within that, there's a need to really stop comparing yourself to others, to other people's lives, to other people's progress. That may be something that you're kind of stuck in, or even if you're like subconsciously comparing yourself to where your parents were at this age, or you know, where your friends are, or where you were taught you should be at this age while you were in school. There's a need to kind of recognize where that may be coming from so that you can understand that that's not necessarily reality, but that was maybe somebody else's reality, but that doesn't mean it has to be yours. I hope that makes sense. So let's go ahead. And I'm going to pull a couple of tarot cards, and then I'm also going to pull a few runes for you guys. So group number one, let's get into your tarot and go a little deeper into this message that Merlin is bringing you from Avalon. Group number one, please. We have stone 9. Yeah, so there is a huge need to focus on your independence from the perception of others, if that makes sense. There's a need to really focus on your own success, not your success in regards to how other people view it, but how you view success, what you believe your success would be, or what it would feel like, or what it would look like in your life, instead of trying to attain the success that other people perceive as success. So that may be something that you're kind of struggling with in a way that maybe you don't even recognize for some of you guys, and that's okay. We all do that, and I just feel the need to kind of point out that I don't do these readings to like point out what you're doing wrong or anything like that. It's just to bring awareness to maybe different perceptions that are causing you to falter, or causing you to lose faith in yourself, or causing you to stray away from what your heart truly wants in order to please others. You know, this channel is built on wanting to help other people see themselves in an authentic manner so that they can heal, and so that they can move forward in a way that's true to them, in a way that's true to you, instead of, you know, in a way that you were taught you were supposed to, or moving from trauma or fear. And some of you guys may really need to hear that. I feel like Avalon's really trying to send you this message through Merlin that your success and your fulfillment needs to be success and fulfillment based upon your own perception. What looks like success and feels like success to you in your life, not what looks good to other people. You know, and for some of you guys, you may be a little bit kind of almost triggered by that, like, well, I don't care what other people think, or but there's something here where it's like subconsciously you really do, and there's a need to kind of recognize where that is playing a role in the steps and the actions that you're taking in your life, because that is what is causing you to come into this decision paralysis type energy. So we also have the Grail Maiden. There's a lot of prophetic energy here, group number one. There's definitely something here where I feel like for some of you guys, you have tapped into like this prophetic ability that you have, but in a way where it's like I feel like in some way, shape, or form, it's kind of fueling this instant gratification, this need for the finish line, this need for everything to turn out the way that you think it's going to. It's like you see the future, you see the finish line, you see the outcome, but you want that outcome to be the next step instead of trying to figure out what steps you have to take to get there. So there's a need to kind of trust this vision that you have, group number one. Trust, that your life is going to end in this fulfillment of this vision that you have for yourself. But there is a progression to get there. There is no one step or one action or instant gratification that's going to achieve this final outcome. There's a need for like building blocks. There's a need for stepping stones to get there. And some of you guys may be like, well, I know this is where I'm supposed to be, but I can't seem to find the way to get there because nothing is immediately taking me there. There is no path that doesn't lead somewhere else first. And there's a need to be okay with experiencing these other things first, because you need the wisdom from those other experiences in order to create this fullness in this vision. I hope that makes sense for you. A river doesn't flow straight to the ocean. It winds, and there's a need to be okay with kind of winding back and forth and, seeing the ocean from different perspectives and from different directions instead of just trying to run straight there. And we also have the Wounded King. Yeah, so for some of you guys, group number one, I feel like a big message here has to do with really learning how to experience the journey, which, may sound very cliche to some of you, and some of you guys may even like roll your eyes. It's about the journey, not the destination, but that's really kind of the vibes that I'm getting here, and that Merlin is really trying to deliver this message to you, that these experiences in this journey are teaching you how to align to this vision that you have. You have to have certain experiences and certain understandings and certain perspectives in order for you to be in alignment with the bigger vision. You have to experience all the different pieces that make this vision whole. And there's a need to allow yourself to do that. So even if something feels like it's leading you astray, there's a need to still experience that, okay? It's happening for a reason. I hope that makes sense for you guys. I'm going to go ahead and pull a couple of runes for you guys here for group number one. What message is Merlin delivering for you? Okay. Okay, just wanted to make sure that was the right side up. Okay, group number one, we have I'm going to show you these runes here. So we have the knot, we have the eye, we have the unknown, and we have the star. Okay. So what again, this is really reiterating that it's almost like you guys are bound to something, right? You guys are bound to something here. And this is going to be different things for different people. For some of you guys, you may be bound to a certain legacy that you're building. You may be bound to a certain lifestyle. It may be a person for some of you guys. You may be going through like a soulmate journey or a twin flame journey, or like a healing journey with another soul that you are bound to. This is like almost soul contract or life purpose type energy coming through here with this. So, and if you notice, like, this binding doesn't just go straight. It's not just strictly connected to one spot or to one direction. You have to experience all the different points of this binding, right? So there's something here, group number one, where it's like you're bound to this vision, you're bound to this dream. Maybe some of you guys are super attached to a certain outcome. This could be that too, like certain attachments that you're being asked to let go of, because what's meant for you will always stay. What's meant for you, you are already connected to, and you will come back to, you will realign once you separate yourself from the kind of codependency of other people's perspectives, the codependency of other people's opinions or other people's validation, whatever that may be for you. We also have the eye here, and this is very much so like this Merlin energy, this prophetic energy, this vision energy, right? It's very much so like magical. There's very much so like a magical presence in your life that is trying to help guide you. But I feel like for a lot of you guys, you've really either lost track or lost faith in this, or maybe have a hard time trusting it, right? And again, having a hard time trusting the unknown, having a hard time trusting that this vision that you're given is where you're meant to go when you don't know how to get there, especially with this unknown rune here. It's like this vision feels so strong, this dream feels so strong, and you feel so called to it, but you don't know how to get there. So you just maybe convince yourself that it's just a dream, or that it's not worth the time or effort, because you don't know how you're going to get there or how you're going to make that happen. But Merlin is coming forth here saying there's a need to trust that you have the ability to make this happen. You have that magic, you have that power. Trust that you have that power. And if you've given your power away to all of these other individuals around you, or all of these other experiences, or all of these other people, whatever that may be, there's a need to pull it back, right? And that may be where you guys are at here, with this knot. This could be, pulling your power back into yourself, into your center. And what I mean by that is not letting other people or other energies or other opinions have control over the way you move through your life. Some of you guys may really struggle with telling other people what you believe in or what you want in life, because you've been told that it's foolish, or that it's, just a dream, or that it's a waste of your time. Or some of you guys are maybe, I'm kind of getting this energy of like being an artist, and we have this kind of starving artist stereotype that keeps a lot of people from pursuing their art, out of this fear that they aren't able to sustain themselves. They aren't able to make the money they need, or, build the life that they need through what they love to do. And I feel like there's something here with that for group number one, where your soul is really guided to become or be or do something very, very specific. But you've convinced yourself that you can't make a living or a lifestyle around this because of other people's opinions or because of what you were told you're supposed to do, right? There's really a need to separate yourself from that perception of life, because that's not your reality, right? That's somebody else's reality that they've projected onto you, and you've allowed that to have power over the actions and the steps that you take in your life. We have the star down here, right? This is like really giving me like that North Star vibe, like follow your dreams, follow your destiny, follow where you're meant to go, and it will be very healing for you, even though initially those first steps of going against what you were taught or going against the perceptions or opinions of others can be very scary. It can be very intimidating. It can, it can stir things up in our emotional self, in our relationships. And it's always that first step that is the hardest. So Merlin is coming forth here saying, take a step towards your own destiny and away from the idea of life that you were taught. And the more steps you take, the more healing you will do, the more healing you will experience, and the more clear your vision will become. Group number 1, okay? So let's go ahead and I'm going to pull you one final message for group number 1, please. I feel like for some of you guys, this may be like, I brought up soul contract energy. I feel like the soul contract could have something to do with bringing something full circle, maybe in like a past life, or like there's something here where it's like previously your soul really wanted to do something. It's like over multiple lifetimes you've had to learn how to follow your soul instead of following what you were told to do. Some of you guys may struggle with like authority issues, or even relationship dynamics is something that's coming in here you may really struggle with. I don't feel like group number 1, I don't feel like you're meant to have this kind of traditional relationship dynamic that we think of, like, the typical, like, the man goes to work and the woman takes care of the house and cooks him dinner type energy. I don't feel like that's for you, and I feel like that kind of lifestyle may also be something that you've struggled moving away from. And really learning how to communicate what you desire and what you need in a relationship may be something to kind of dive into as well as like this authority type energy that's coming in here may stem from like a father wound for some of you guys that needs healing. So there's almost like this rebellious energy that you rebel against certain things out of spite of your past, or even out of spite of your soul's past. Even if you're not entirely sure where the source of this is coming from, there's still a need to kind of look at that and really give it healing and attention, so that you're able to move forward in a way that's more authentic and aligned, instead of in a way that's just against what somebody else said, or against the grain. I feel like some of you guys here may really make decisions based off of just doing the opposite of what you were told, or doing the opposite of what somebody expects you to do, or doing the opposite of what your parents wanted for you, just out of spite, or because you're not going to be what they want you to be, but those decisions weren't actually in alignment with what you wanted to be either. So that may be something to kind of explore for some of you guys as well. But our final message here for group number 1 is look at this, the mystery, learning how to trust the unknown, learning how to trust the winding path, and to trust that even though a path may look like it's taking you off course or look like it's taking you astray, there's something there that you're really meant to explore and see. So group number one, I feel like Avalon really truly wanted to come forward for you here and give you the confidence that you need, and let you know that just because you don't know how you're going to get there, or you don't know where this path is leading you, doesn't mean you shouldn't take it. It doesn't mean that it's not meant for you. Stepping outside of your comfort zone and doing things you've never done before can be the most life-changing experiences that we have, and you're really being encouraged to do that, group number one, okay? So this is what I'm seeing for you. I do also recommend maybe meditating with Merlin, seeking him out in meditation and connecting with him and working with that energy to reconnect to your power, to reconnect to your path and to your vision. Okay, group number one, but this is what I'm seeing. So I'm going to go ahead and leave this message here for you. If you enjoyed this reading, if it resonated with you, if it brought you value, please hit that like button, as it truly does help to support the channel. Comment down below. Let me know what you thought of this. Let me know any other readings that you guys would like to see. And consider subscribing if you feel called to do so. I thank you guys so incredibly much for joining me here today, and I will see you guys next time. Bye. Hello, my beautiful group number two. Those of you that chose Arthur here as your messenger from Avalon, this reading is for you. So group number two, the very first impression that I got coming into your reading was this idea that feminine energy is the weaker energy. Okay, so Arthur here is very well known for the round table, right? And what I'm seeing is like all types of energy at this round table being viewed equally with a lack of judgment. And I feel like that's kind of the overall theme or energy of this message that Avalon is sending to you, is that there may need to be a new perception of the different aspects of self, or the different aspects of reality, or the different aspects of other people even. I am very much so picking up on like wounded feminine energy, and this perception that allowing yourself to kind of embrace your feminine energy is a sign of weakness. And this may stem from childhood, with certain experiences that you've had with your own mother or feminine energy or guardian in your life. And this is also leading me to, like, for some of you guys, you may very harshly judge the feminine or female energies surrounding you in your life, whether they're women at work, at school, in your life, in any aspect. You may very harshly, almost subconsciously judge them or look down on them or view them as the weaker souls in your life, or even just that aspect of them. You may really shy away from femininity, from receptivity, even from stillness. Interesting. So there's something here, group number two, where it's like there's a need to sit at the round table with all aspects of your energy: feminine, masculine, higher self, shadow self, inner child, all avenues and aspects of your own energy, and view them equally and engage with them equally in order to understand yourself better, and in order to understand how to heal not only yourself but your perception of others. Okay. So there's definitely something here as well with that, as there's a need to try to find the strengths in those aspects that you view as the weaker version. Why do you view them as weaker? And what strengths do they actually have that you overlook? Okay, interesting. So let's go ahead here, group number 2, and I'm going to pull some tarot for you guys to go a little deeper into this message. I'm also really picking up like this energy of like drama or gossip. You may really find that you're either surrounded by or even involved in talking about other people, judging other people, like drama, gossip type energies. You may find those energies surrounding you, or you even being involved in them quite often. And this may be kind of how you pass your judgment on that particular energy that you view as weaker. Interesting. Let's pull some tarot, group number 2, and see a little deeper into this message and why it's coming forth for you. For group number 2, please. What message is Arthur bringing forth from Avalon for group number 2? My soul's tuning into group number 2. Okay. We have the Spear 8. And this is talking all about the messages that we send to other people. This could even be the impressions that we send out into the world. There's something here about being very mindful and becoming very aware of the things we say to others, our communication, and the messages that we give. So there's something here, group number 2, where Arthur is trying to have you guys become aware of kind of that first instinct or that first judgment or that kind of first impression that you may be attached to in other people or that you give of yourself. There's a lot of harsh judgment here, and this could be if you find that you're very harshly judging others due to their first impression or like your perspective of their first impression. This may be kind of a mirror trying to get you to look at how harshly you judge yourself. Okay. We also have the Spear Queen. And Stone 10. Okay. I feel like group number 2, a lot of you guys with this Spear Queen here, and this particular deck of cards talks about how her husband or her spouse, her significant other, was lost in battle, and she took a moment to process that, like just a minute, and then got up and continued going. And I feel like that's kind of this energy that I'm picking up on, like not allowing yourself to process your feelings, not allowing yourself to feel your feelings, not allowing yourself to be affected or impacted by the things that you feel, and telling yourself that your feelings don't matter. And that's kind of that feminine energy, right? Telling yourself that you don't need support, you don't need comforting, you don't need nurturing, and that your emotions don't matter in some aspect or another. I feel like group number 2, Arthur is coming forth with this message, trying to encourage you to recognize how these emotions that you're suppressing here are leading to like projecting these emotions into the reality in a way that's, you know, maybe toxic or harmful to yourself or others. The Spear Queen, this is the Queen of Wands in the traditional tarot, and this can very much so embody like the drama and the gossip and the judgment type energies. And I feel like you guys really harbor that, not only towards yourself, but for some of you towards other people, or even maybe just one specific person, depending on, you know, your specific life and scenarios. But there's something here that's very significant about that in your journey, and Arthur's coming forth here with this energy of wanting you to like sit down with all aspects of yourself and view them as equal, just because they're not identical. You know, we look at masculine and feminine energies, and, you know, we can say the feminine energy is the weaker, maybe physically, maybe emotionally, if that's how you want to view it, but it's also stronger than the masculine in certain aspects, in vulnerability, in nurturing, in gentleness. You know, those things can be strengths as well, and there's a need to kind of view them from a different perspective. Equal doesn't mean the same, right? And I feel like maybe your ideas or your construct around this idea of equality, or around these different types of energies, may need to be reflected upon in order to kind of really see how that's causing you to suppress a certain part of yourself. Group number 2, I hope that makes sense. We also have the stone 10 here, which I really feel for you guys, this is saying like you can build a home, right? Let's bring that masculine and feminine energy back here. That's very strong, and I feel like you guys are very much so in your masculine energy, and you view that as the superior energy. Very much so, like, I'll do it myself. I can build a home. But in this particular deck, we see it surrounded by winter, right? It's very cold. It's very kind of barren of life without that feminine energy. And so, like, there's this need to recognize that you need both, that you need all aspects of self, that they all hold value in order to bring life into yourself and into your reality, right? Interesting. So group number 2, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pull some runes for you guys for group number 2. Okay. Okay. So starting off here with the crossroads, there is a huge message here that only embracing one part of yourself, or kind of viewing this one part of yourself as superior, is going to only leave like one option open for you, or even none. It's like you can get to this place, but you can't get any further type energy. So there's like almost teamwork energy coming in here, where you need all parts of yourself to be working together in unison in order to be able to move down your path, in order to be able to make a decision, in order to proceed past like this crossroads. I feel like you guys are at this crossroads, and it's like you feel like you have to choose one direction or the other, or one aspect of yourself or the other, and it's like you're weighing these parts of yourself, trying to figure out which one is going to take you further. And due to this world that we live in, you may be viewing this as like, which one's going to take you further in this physical realm, especially with the stone 10 here. This is the 10 of Pentacles. Which one's going to make you more money? Which one's going to bring you more physical wealth or physical comfort? And those things are beautiful, right? There's nothing wrong with desiring those. But, you know, we hear all the time, if we don't have anybody to share it with, or if it's, you know, if we end up with this castle, but we live in it alone, is it really worth it? But this, again, this crossroads is really bringing forth like this idea of choosing one or the other, needing like this very cut and dry, black and white, yes or no type answer. And I feel like Arthur is coming forth here saying, either, depending on your situation, for some of you guys, you need all aspects of yourself in order to make a decision or to choose a direction, or to bring attention to the fact that you're trying to divide yourself, or like compartmentalize yourself and choose the superior version of your energy, or the superior aspect of your energy, in order to move forward. It's like you feel like you can't take all of yourself with you, and this is causing like a wound or even trauma to like your feminine energy, is really what I'm feeling here for group number 2. We also have here, this is the flight rune, and this talks about communication. This talks about movement. This talks about cause and effect, and kind of, you know, how our actions affect our reality, as well as, you know, spreading information, which we have here with the Spear 8, spreading information, or spreading, you know, depending on how this is going for you. There's something here about spreading gossip, or about like judgment being spoken aloud. I'm seeing like a group of people sitting around talking about other people, talking about how they disapprove, or how they don't understand other people and their actions, or the way that they live their life in a manner that is like speaking down on them. And that's something that's very prominent here. So for some of you guys, this may be something that you fear. You may be very kind of fearful of how other people view you. You may really struggle with like getting lost down the rabbit hole of like wondering what other people think about you, or what other people say about you when you're not there. You may even watch a lot of those kind of tarot readings here on YouTube, like how do they feel about me, what do they think about me, you know, what do they say when I'm not there type of energy. And for some of you guys, this is a need to come into awareness of how you may be doing this as a projection of your own wounded feminine energy. You may really talk down or judge other people harshly because their feminine energy is maybe more prominent or louder than yours. And because you have that kind of aversion or even resentment to your own feminine energy, for some of you guys, due to your own life experiences, you may project that resentment or judgment onto other people's feminine energy. So there is a need really to embrace all aspects of yourself. I really feel like Arthur here is saying like there is no way to get to what you want unless you embrace all parts of yourself. And even then, I feel like for a lot of you guys, once you embrace all parts of yourself and really travel down that road, the desires that you have, or the view of what success is, or what legacy you want to leave behind, or what your destiny is, may change. And that's okay. And for a lot of you guys, maybe the fear of change, the fear of, you know, not knowing what you want, the fear of starting over, even potentially for some of you guys, may be part of what holds you back from doing this. But Arthur is saying trust, and really embrace the truth of who you are, instead of picking and choosing the parts of yourself that you allow to be present. So there's a need to be all of you, group number 2, okay? So let's go ahead and pull one final message for you guys. One final message for group number 2. Any last guidance or advice from Avalon for group number 2, please? We have the Swan, transformation and trusting the psychic gifts. So the psychic gifts really do come from, I personally feel like, come from the feminine energy, as there's 2 of them that want to come out. As the feminine energy is very much so kind of our internal world, our emotions, our dreams, and things like this, whereas our masculine energy is very much so our movements, our actions, the things that we do, the things that we build, the things like that. So there's definitely a transformation trying to emerge in your feminine energy, but you have to allow it, okay? We also have the Lady of the Lake with absolute truth, courage, self-respect, and responsibility. Yeah, so we're really being encouraged to allow our feminine energy to emerge, to, you know, embrace our absolute truth, our inner and outer world, respecting ourself instead of only one part of ourself, right? Taking responsibility for our actions and the things that we've projected into this reality as well for some of us. Okay, so there's definitely like an emergence of our feminine energy trying to occur, but we have to allow that. Group number 2, and that's a big message here. I also do want to just say that I highly encourage you guys, you know, if this reading, especially if this reading resonated with you, but maybe even if it didn't, to sit down and meditate with Arthur, to seek him out in meditation and really seek working with him to find the truth of self, and to find kind of that round table within you to bring all parts of yourself together and be able to view them differently instead of judging them, right? But this is what I'm seeing for my beautiful group number 2. If you enjoyed this reading, if it resonated with you, if it brought you value, please hit that like button, as it truly does help to support the channel. Comment down below, let me know what you thought of this. Let me know if this is the pile you chose, and consider subscribing if you feel called to do so. I thank you guys so incredibly much for joining me here today, and I will see you guys next time. Bye. Hello, my beautiful group number 3. Those of you that chose the white heart here as a messenger, this reading is for you, and we are looking at a message from Avalon brought to you through the energy of the white heart. So group number 3, coming into your reading, there's definitely an energy of new beginnings. I feel like group number 3, you guys are my people who maybe have had a lot of different kinds of jobs, who have moved around a lot, have lived in a lot of different places, even if it's the same city, but maybe a lot of different homes in that same city there's just something here about moving around a lot, whether that's in jobs, career, relationships, environments. Some of you guys may also just have this gift of being able to, you know, hang out with all different walks of life, being able to connect with all different walks of life. For some of you guys, you may kind of beat yourself up because maybe you don't know what you want to do for the rest of your life, or maybe you've always kind of viewed settling down or committing to one thing for the rest of your life just doesn't sit well with you. It's not a bad thing, group number 3, but there is something here about needing to kind of learn how to embrace that part of yourself. I feel like for a lot of you guys, you're really meant to explore and you're really meant to experience a lot within this lifetime. I feel like for some of you guys, you know, settling down into a job, like a 9-to-5 job for the rest of your life until you retire isn't something that you're meant for. Some of you guys, maybe you're meant to create your own schedule or even start your own business that allows you the flexibility that you need. I feel like group number 3, you guys are my souls who really need flexibility, and you really need things to change. You really need to experience a lot of different things. So doing the same thing every day just isn't right for you, and you may have always struggled in life trying to figure out why, or even kind of looking down on that or wondering what was wrong with you because you weren't able to do that. There's nothing wrong with you. Not everybody's meant for the same thing, and there's something here where it's like there's a need to embrace that part of you instead of being ashamed of it. Okay? So there is a major energy of like a new beginning or a change in direction for group number 3 coming through here right now. Maybe you're wanting to change jobs. Maybe you're wanting to move somewhere. Maybe you're wanting to travel. Maybe you're wanting to start a new relationship or you know, get involved in something new. That energy's here very strong. And you're being asked to follow that energy, to follow the white heart into these new beginnings and into these new adventures. You know, and this doesn't mean to be careless or reckless. Group number 3, I just need to put that disclaimer in there. You know, following your heart into danger or into things that are going to cause harm to yourself or others is obviously never something that I'm going to encourage you to do. But, let's go ahead here, group number 3, and get into some tarot and go a little deeper into this message that the white heart brings forth for you. I am really hearing the kind of the statement, or I guess the question, like, what is it that you're actually chasing? What are you chasing in life? Okay. What are you trying to accomplish? So that may be a question for you to kind of maybe journal about or reflect upon. Also, kind of, you know, to follow that up, what would you do if you caught that, whatever that was? What would you do if you accomplished whatever it was that you're chasing? What would that mean for you? What would that look like? What would that entail? Let's pull some tarot for group number 3 and go a little deeper into this message that the white heart is bringing forth from Avalon for group number 3, please. For the souls tuning into group number 3, please. We have the Star. I love that. We have the Sleeping Lord. Wow. And we have the Grail 6. Okay, group number 3. Big message coming through here immediately is that this idea of closure, that maybe some of you guys are seeking closure to something, like you're needing closure to something, or you're telling yourself that you need closure to something in order to move on into new adventures, or in order to start over, or in order to, you know, begin anew. And I feel like Avalon is really wanting to send this message to you that closure comes in many different ways, and there's something here about like your mindset needing closure to happen in a very specific way is keeping you from a new chapter in your life. It's keeping you from new adventures in your life because you're holding yourself back, waiting for somebody or something else to act in a very specific way before you're giving yourself permission to move forward. And there's a big message here to really give yourself that permission to move forward. Allow yourself to create your own closure instead of living in the past, waiting for somebody or something to come in and maybe apologize or whatever it is you're waiting for. There's something here where it's like you're pursuing an apology, or you're actively like holding yourself back, waiting for somebody or something to act in a very particular way that you've convinced yourself will make everything okay for you to move on, that will, you know, and signify like this great ending of this chapter. Not all chapters end in completion, you know, in this idea of what we have of completion. Not all chapters end by answering all the questions, by tying up all the loose ends. Some of them are cliffhangers. Some books end with a cliffhanger. And I feel like that's something that you guys are kind of going through right now, is like something ended with this cliffhanger and you're waiting for closure. You're waiting for the answer to all of the questions. You're waiting for the apology, you're waiting for the forgiveness, you're waiting for something to come in and wrap up all of the loose ends. And Avalon really wants to send this message to you that it's okay to move forward without that closure that you think you need. Wow. Okay, so that's a pretty powerful message, and I feel like this is a pretty powerful kind of time in your life too. Very intense. It feels very intense. I feel like a lot of my group number 3, maybe you're kind of going through this mindset of, well, I wasted my time, or I wish things would have went differently, spending a lot of time in the past like trying to create a different version of how things could have went in order to create the ending that you wanted or the life that you wanted. There's a lot of time spent, I feel like, in your mind trying to tell yourself, well, if I would have just done this one thing differently, then things wouldn't have ended this way, or they wouldn't have ended at all. And there's a lot of time spent doing this. And Avalon is sending this messenger to you to really encourage you to let yourself move forward. It wasn't a waste of your time. It was a guiding light to the next chapter in your life, to the next journey, to the next adventure, right? It got you to this point of new beginning. Like it's giving you this opportunity to start over in a completely different way, to refocus, to focus on something maybe completely new. I feel like it was a catalyst, whatever this was for you. It's going to be different for everybody because this is a general reading. It was a catalyst for you to be able to move into this new chapter that is going to like really almost fulfill your destiny, is something that I'm hearing. Like you needed that experience, you needed that cliffhanger to get you to this point of new beginnings, to start over, to focus your attention into something else. You know, a lot of the times when something ends, or when things aren't going the way that we want, or we hear about people like losing themselves in their work, or you know, really burying themselves in something very particular because they experienced a great loss or a great hurt. I feel like that's kind of something that may be happening here for you, group number 3. Like you may be really digging your heels into your work, or into a specific idea, or into like, you know, maybe writing a book for some of you guys, as I keep using this like chapter analogy, because of some sort of ending, or some sort of loss, or some sort of experience that you went through. And you needed that experience in order to cause you to dive so deep into this new thing. Interesting. So yeah, Avalon is sending this message to really allow yourself to come out of this mindset of trying to, you know, change the past, trying to tell yourself, well, if I would have done this one thing differently, then things would have turned out differently, like creating all of these different scenarios of how things could have turned out, but they didn't. It's already happened. You can't change the past, but you can change the future, right? You can change the way you move forward, and you can move forward without this idea of closure, without this ending, without this wrapping up of the loose ends, right? So there's this energy of like being left on this cliffhanger, ending, and allowing yourself to move forward anyway, giving yourself permission to move forward without waiting for all of the answers or for the apology or for the closure. Okay, so let's go ahead, group number 3, and I'm going to pull some runes for you guys here to get some more messages. Okay, so we have the crossroads, the sun, and the waves. So the crossroads, I feel like, is really kind of symbolic of this in between, the ending and the beginning, right? You're at the end of something, but you're not allowing yourself to start over because you're waiting for this end to be the end that you need it to be. And it's causing you to stagnate. For some of you guys, there's a need to allow yourself to move forward. Maybe this ending that you're searching for will come back around later. Maybe it won't. There's a need to allow yourself to move forward to find that out. Okay? Because what I'm hearing is it's not going to come right now. And it's not going to come by force, right? Like, we can't force somebody to acknowledge the pain that they caused us, to apologize, to understand how we feel, to understand our perspective, because our perspective is built off of our entire life experience. They didn't experience the same life that you did. They haven't experienced the same love and the same heartbreaks, the same gains and losses, the same dynamics. They haven't experienced those, and there's absolutely no way that any one person can completely understand your perception of life. And we can't force other people to live that way either. We can't force other people to view life through our eyes so that they know what we need, right? And those expectations can be dangerous, right? We have this wave here that is saying we're being moved, like we're being moved in a different direction. The water is moving us. Our emotions are moving us. Everything inside of us is moving us. There's maybe a calling for some of us. There's something washing us in a different direction, and there's a need to allow that instead of fighting against the current. It's like you guys are trying to swim upstream, and there's a need to allow yourself to float downriver, right? You're trying to swim upstream back into this past experience. There's a need to allow yourself to be moved. Group number 3, okay? Big message, because it's moving you to your happiness, to your success, to your fulfillment. At least right now, right? It's leading you to a place that's going to bring you happiness, that's going to bring you completion. For some of you guys, that completion that you're seeking isn't going to be found behind you. Okay, that's a big message for a lot of my souls that chose this. That completion is not going to be found behind you. Going back to that old job that's comfortable and familiar, because, you know, maybe you're feeling uncomfortable where you're at, or you're feeling like this calling, like you need to move, but you don't know where to go. And maybe you always have this fallback. Maybe you always have this, you know, fallback job, fallback relationship, fallback city, whatever it is. Your completion that you're searching for is not going to be found behind you. There's a need for new experiences, new being the key word here. Group number 3, okay? So that is a very powerful message for you guys. All right, so let's go ahead and pull you one final message, group number 3, one final message from Avalon that the White Heart is delivering to you. Group number 3, please. I do really feel like for a lot of you guys, there is an aspect of luck coming in here. So you may find that when you allow yourself to begin moving forward, you're going to almost have a lot of very lucky happenings that are going to be confirmation, I feel like, more than anything for you, to lead you in the right direction. We have focus. Yeah, you guys are being refocused. You guys are being asked to kind of really, like I brought up earlier, like this idea of really digging your heels into your work or into your hobby or into your passion or into this new thing because of something that happened in the past, like trying to separate yourself from the past by digging into writing that book, digging into your work, really diving deep into maybe your spiritual practices for some of you guys, whatever that is. Allow yourself to focus on that path and let it move you forward, okay? Because again, the completion you're searching for isn't going to be found in the past. If you take anything away from this reading, take that statement. The completion that you're looking for, the happiness that you're looking for, the success that you're looking for is not going to be found in the past, group number 3, okay? But this is what I'm seeing for you guys. I'm going to go ahead and leave this here for you. I do want to really encourage you guys to seek out the White Heart in meditation. I feel like that could bring a lot of clarity to you guys. Seek out the White Heart, you know, in the forest, in meditation, and follow the White Heart. I feel like the White Heart will lead you through the forest and really bring you a lot of guidance, learning how to trust the White Heart's voice within your own mind and where it's leading you. And just know that you may not ever catch the White Heart in meditation or ever, but be aware of where it takes you, be aware of where it leads you and why you're chasing the things that you're chasing, and what it is exactly that you are chasing and why. Okay. But yeah, I'm going to leave this here for you guys. If you enjoyed this reading, if it resonated with you, if it brought you value, please hit that like button, as it truly does help to support the channel. Comment down below. Let me know if you chose this pile. Let me know if it resonated for you. And consider subscribing if you feel called to, and hitting that notification bell so you don't miss out when I post future videos like this. I thank you guys so incredibly much for joining me here today, and I will see you guys next time. Bye. Hello, my beautiful group number 4. Those of you that chose the Questing Beast here, this reading is for you. And this is your messenger to bring you messages from Avalon, group number 4. And tapping into your reading, tuning into this energy, there is like this very deep kind of revelation energy. Some of you guys may feel like you're going through an awakening, or feel like you're emerging in some way, shape, or form, or having a lot of epiphanies. And if you haven't yet, I feel like that is something that you are stepping into. There is a very deep transformation. There is very deep revelations, very deep understanding of yourself, of your subconscious. Maybe for some of you guys, learning how to tap into your subconscious for the first time, learning how to really understand yourself on such a deep level, learning how to transform yourself. Group number 4, I really feel that for you guys. I feel like this is the energy that you're in, like an energy of very deep, intense awakening and revelation, okay? So group number 4, there is something here like the statement or I guess sentence that I heard coming into your reading was the right path is always the hardest. Like, you know, kind of like that saying or that idea that the doing the right thing is always harder than, you know, taking the easy way out, or, you know, it's easier than doing the wrong things, or harder than doing the wrong thing a lot of the time. So there's something here where it's almost like you're being challenged or tested in some way, shape, or form, to follow your own path, to do what's right for you or to do what's right in general. I do feel very deep karmic energy here as well. Some of you guys may be going through like your Saturn return, or you may have some very significant Saturn energy playing a role in this, in your life at the time that you find yourself at this video. Very deep kind of karmic release is what I'm feeling. Maybe karmic balance for some of you guys, but huge karmic release is the main energy that I'm feeling for group number 4. And because of that, you're going to be led to a very deep understanding of, I feel like, where you're meant to go in life, or what you're meant to do, or like what your calling is. For some of you guys, maybe what your purpose is. A very deep understanding of what your soul desires to do in this lifetime, what your soul wants to experience in this lifetime. Wow. So there's almost kind of this energy of being stripped bare spiritually, like all of the karmic energy, all of the energetic attachments, everything just kind of being stripped away so that you're able to connect to the deepest part of yourself, to your soul, to your spirit again, or for some of you guys, maybe even for the first time in this life. Wow. And I feel like group number 4, especially if you haven't come to this point yet, there's something here about surrendering. A lot of you guys maybe have been in this seeking energy, trying to find, trying to force, trying to, force puzzle pieces to fit in places they don't go, just trying to find a way, trying to find your way through this maze of life. And I feel like there's something here where there's this breaking point where you just stop. You stop trying to force it. You stop trying to make things fit that don't fit just because you need something in that void. And that's really what surrender is, right? And when you surrender is when the questing beast shows up to show you the way. When you release all of these expectations, when you let go of this idea that things have to be a certain way, or that all of these social norms have to be met, or like, we fall into this trap of social conformity when we don't even try to, because we're taught through generations that you have to check all of these boxes in order to live a happy life, or in order to find happiness. And it's like when we release all of that energy, and all of those expectations and all of these ideas that you have to check all of these boxes in order to live a full life, that's when our true calling comes in. That's when our true happiness comes in. That's when our true path reveals itself. Wow. Okay, group number 4. So let's go ahead and pull some tarot for you and go a little deeper into this message that the questing beast is bringing forth for you from Avalon. For my souls that chose group number 4, please. Group number 4. So we hear a lot of the times, that we need to fill our own cup first, right? That we need to pour into ourselves before we pour into other people. And what I'm really feeling with this questing beast is that there's a need to empty yourself out. There is a need to pour out all of these, like I said, all of these expectations, to let yourself pour out, even emptying out all of these stagnant emotions. Some of you guys may be working on releasing stagnant emotions or stuck emotions through different means, breath work or yoga or whatever it might be for you, meditation, somatic therapy, whatever it might be, like working on releasing all of these emotions, working on emptying yourself of all of these limiting beliefs and these ideas and constructs that we've been taught of how we're supposed to live our life. There's just this huge energy of needing to really empty yourself out in order to fill yourself up with the right energies, right? With the right emotions, with the right beliefs that are true to you, that are authentic to your soul. So if you found group number 4 that you've been really questioning your belief systems or questioning why you think the way that you do or why you feel the way that you feel, I feel like this is kind of a prelude to learning how to release these things that you've constructed within yourself that aren't actually serving you, but that you were taught to do, or that were kind of subconsciously imprinted, or maybe it's a generational thing for some of you guys. But our first card here is Stone 8. Yeah, see, you guys have been doing the work. You guys have been really doing the work to really reform yourself. I'm really seeing this as kind of like sculpture. It's like you've brought yourself back to like the clay before it's sculpted, like a blank slate. There's a need for a blank slate here in order for you to carve yourself in your soul's image. Wow. Okay. We have the Grail 10, fulfillment, happiness. Wow, and we have the Grail 5. Okay, yeah, so these are all very much so confirmation of what we've already been talking about, but like I said, with Stone 8 here, this really shows that you guys have been doing the work. You guys have been doing the hard work. You've been doing the shadow work. You've been doing the kind of subconscious work. You've been doing the, you know, maybe the therapy or the emotional work. You've been committed to bettering yourself. You've been committed to exploring yourself and to learning who you are and to learning what you like and trying new things. A lot of the times we don't know what we like or what we want because we don't allow ourselves to try things, right? Because trying new things is scary. Starting it with a blank slate is scary. For some of us, kind of admitting that we don't know how to do things, you know, that we have to learn how to do things can be scary. But you guys have been doing that work, and that's just absolutely beautiful. And I feel like that work is the work of emptying our cup, the work of, you know, kind of releasing. When we carve out stone, we chip pieces off that we don't need, that aren't helpful to the structure we're trying to build, to the system, belief system, to the purpose or whatever it is that we're trying to build. And I feel like that's what you guys have been doing. Like, you've been chipping away these pieces that are no longer of use or that aren't helpful to your soul's mission here. Okay, and that's beautiful. We have the Grail 10. This is happiness. This is fulfillment. This is learning how to be happy, even though maybe you don't have all of these things that like the social norm says you have to be happy. This is learning how to be present, learning how to be happy in the moment, learning how to find the good things in life instead of getting lost in everything that you don't have, right? Because in this today's world, it's almost as though it's very pushed to have all of these things and to have the status and to have all of the likes on the social media and to have more in order to be happy. And I feel like group number 4, this is about learning to be happy without those things. This is about learning how to be happy and fulfilled without indulging in all of these flashy, showy things that we're taught mean something. I feel like you guys are really learning how to discern what actually means something to you and what you were taught means something to this particular image that we're taught we should show the world to prove that we're successful, to prove that we're happy, to prove that we're wealthy, to prove that we're powerful, or whatever it is. You know, we're taught that we have to have certain things, that we have to behave a certain way, that we have to, you know, present ourselves in a certain way. And I feel like you guys are learning how to be happy without those things in your own way. I hope that makes sense. With Grail 5 here, this speaks a lot about letting go, about the losses, about, you know, emptying that cup and learning that even though things leave our lives and they may be very sad or even painful, or, you know, create that void that a lot of us try to fill with everything that we can, that doesn't mean that letting go of that was a bad thing. Just because it leaves a space, because we have a space, because we have a void, that's not a negative thing. That's making room for our happiness. That's making room for something new, for potentially something better, you know? And I feel like group number 4, there's something here about really learning how to enjoy this open space, to enjoy this void, to enjoy the empty cup, right? To enjoy having space instead of constantly trying to fill all of these, what we perceive as holes or what we perceive as emptiness, being a bad thing. It's not necessarily a bad thing. And I feel like this deep revelation has a lot to do with that for you guys. It has a lot to do with really understanding that the emptiness or the void or the space holds so much value, even though in our society, in today's world, we're taught that it's a negative thing. We're taught that, you know, being single is bad, or that, you know, there must be something wrong with you if you can't hold a partner, or, you know, things like that. It's like we're really driven to make sure that all of these boxes are checked, right? All of these boxes are filled with something. We have a job, we have our money, we have our status, we have our friend circle, we have our spouse, we have our partner, we have, you know, all of these things we have to have in order to live up to these standards that have been placed on today's world. And I feel like group number 4, you guys are going through this very deep spiritual, emotional, internal transformation where you're really on a cellular, deep soul level learning that having space is so incredibly beautiful, and that's leading you somewhere. You guys are being led somewhere, and the more space you have, the further down this path you're going, the closer to this purpose. You know, it's moving you, it's bringing you somewhere. This space, this emptiness, this void, this whatever you use to explain it, this empty cup is leading you somewhere, right? You may have to go alone. That's not a bad thing. Again, that empty space, there's something here about that empty space is not a bad thing, group number 4. So let's go ahead and pull you, I'm going to pull some runes for you guys, group number 4, and see what other messages come forth here. Okay. Yes, we have harvest and the star coming up here initially. Before I flip these other 2 over, we have harvest. This is abundance. This is fulfillment. Even though all those boxes aren't checked, even though there's this empty space, if you will, this open space, there's abundance, there's fulfillment. It's the reward for the work that you've been doing. That's our life purpose, our soul purpose. I feel like there's a deep revelation in regards to our soul purpose here for group number 4 that's unraveling here for you, that's leading you somewhere, right? We also have, wow, Okay, there's a lot of very prophetic energy here, a lot of very almost soul destiny type energy here. Whether you believe in that or not, that's just kind of the energy that's coming forth here. And there's a need to really trust your vision, your intuition, that you are being led somewhere. We have this feminine energy, we have vision, and we have the star, and this is about really trusting like that guiding light within you. Because a lot of the times we can fill ourselves up with all of these external energies, right? And all of these external energies have their own idea of what they think we should do with our life, or where they think that we should go, or how we should move forward. And the more things we pour out of our cup, the less static, the less chaos, the less external voices we have trying to lead us in a million different directions that are true to them but not to us. A lot of the times people give us advice, and it's well intended, right? People are trying to help us, but if people could listen to their own advice and recognize that they're truly actually speaking to themselves and not to other people. You know, we have to have this awareness. We have to be able to kind of detach from ourself, from our own journey, to really honestly be able to help guide people. A lot of the times, you know, we receive this advice that's very well intended and comes from a place of love, but most people, the advice that they give is really their own map. So for some of you guys, maybe you are the soul that gives the advice, and maybe there's a need to really understand the advice that you're giving is also, it may very well help another person. It may very well help them have revelations of their own, but it's also a map of your own. It also, I feel like, is something that could help guide you, because it's coming from your soul, right? It's coming from your internal self. It's coming from your experiences. And a lot of the times we can give all of this advice to other people, especially if we're very unaware or very closed off or resistant to change. We can give all this advice to other people that we should be following ourselves. So that may be something that's coming through here. Or for some of you guys, maybe you've been seeking advice from others, and there's a need to seek advice from yourself, okay? To follow your own vision, to follow maybe the advice that you would give to somebody else. Maybe write about that. Maybe, you know, ask yourself, what advice would I give somebody that I cared about, that was in a particular position, or maybe in the same position that I am? What advice would I give them? And then go back and read that and see how that maybe could apply to you, or how that could maybe help guide you, how that could be a part of a map for you in your own life. You may tell other people to trust the process or to trust the journey, and you may have a hard time doing that. You may tell other people that, you know, they'll make it, or that their work will pay off, but you don't trust that your own work will pay off. There's something here about that for group number 4, okay? But there's a need to know that it will, and there's a need to know that this empty space that is being created in your life is not a bad thing. This space holds so much value, you know, and that value is going to be different to everybody, but it holds so much value and so much wisdom and so much guidance within it. And that may seem very strange, like a very strange concept to a lot of people, because we're taught to fill those spaces, to fill those voids, to never allow ourselves to be without or to lack, or, you know, we fear lack, we fear emptiness, we fear being alone. And there's something here about really needing to kind of embrace this space, to hold space, okay? Let's pull one more message for group number 4. Any last guidance or advice for my beautiful souls that chose group number 4? Protection. Yes, protection. I love this final message for you guys so much. There's a need to know that sometimes things leave our life to protect us, not to hurt us. Holding space can be a form of protection as well, and there's a need to know that, like the questing beast, even though you may feel very challenged on this journey, you may feel very out of your element on this journey, there's a need to know that the questing beast is bringing you protection. So if there's a path that opens up that maybe causes you to hesitate, there's a need to trust your intuition, to trust that voice that says don't go down this road, or don't go down this road again, to trust it. Okay, and maybe acknowledge where or when you try to kind of manipulate the answers of your intuition. If, you know, maybe some of you guys have your own tarot cards and you ask a question and it gives you the answer that you didn't want. Maybe you try to ask it in a different way to get a different answer. There's a need to maybe recognize where you do this in your life, because these particular answers and this guidance is being given to you right now for a reason. And this movement that's coming in here is moving you away from something, or making space, you know, as a form of protection as well, to protect your soul, to protect your purpose, to protect your success. Some of you guys may be trying to build success with somebody or for somebody else, and you're being moved away from that, or being separated from somebody or something that you thought was supposed to be a part of this success. You're being moved away from it. It's being removed from your life, or from an aspect of your life for a reason. It's not supposed to be a part of your success for a reason. Okay, and there's a need to trust those things, group number 4. But this is what I'm seeing. I'm going to go ahead and leave this here for you. I do highly recommend doing a meditation to kind of connect with the questing beast for group number 4. You know, I would say seek out the questing beast if that's what you feel called to do, or maybe go into meditation and ask the questing beast to find you. And this may be something, especially for group number 4 here, that you have to do more than once. You may be shown in your initial meditations certain things that you have to let go of, or certain limitations that are being placed on you that are keeping you from connecting with the questing beast, that are keeping you from this path of purpose. And a lot of the times, you know, you hear that the questing beast actually has to seek you out. So doing these meditations to surrender, to release, to let go, to hold space for the questing beast may be very powerful for you as well. But I'm going to go ahead and leave this here for you, group number 4. If this resonated with you, please hit that like button, as it truly does help to support the channel. Comment down below. Let me know what you thought of this. Consider subscribing and hitting that notification bell if you feel called to, so you don't miss out when I post future videos like this. I thank you guys so incredibly much for joining me here today, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.